Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another beautiful day on the plains of Colorado. If you are new here, my name is Doyle, this is my garage, and I hope to earn your subscription today. Well, we're going to get back on the big block again. Which big block? My big block. So, I am extremely frustrated with the local postal service, and I think it's just United States Postal Service in general. I love my postal carrier, but USPS keeps losing my shit. And them losing my shit makes me lose my shit. So, I had to make my own magnetic trigger pickup cable thing today. Remember reading on the old MSD owner's manual that said that you could extend or shorten wires as long as you use some quality wires and quality connectors. So I went to the trash pile and pulled out some green paintless wiring harness wire and some purple wiring harness, some purple painless wiring harness wiring, and I made my own. On top of that, I also put platinum spark plugs in, so it has platinum spark plugs now. And the only other thing that you guys didn't see is I made my new throttle return spring bracket because the other one wasn't tall enough because this intake is taller. Other than that, stole somebody's spark plug wire for the ignition wire, and then I had to rebuild the carburetor. So I'm going to show you guys that first. After I did that, we had to convert the distributor to MSD. I'll show you that next. That made it to where you just plug the MSD box into it, but the wire, let me flip you around. The wire coming out of the box only came like this far, so I cut the connector off the end of it and ran wire up to here and plugged it in like it's supposed to be, so that's an actual physical connection. So that is all ready to go. Went and purchased a new air cleaner, got that taken care of, and now I think we're ready to give this a try, and my heart is racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour, let me tell you that. Clean the window. That was another thing. So let me get this hood off of here, the battery plugged in, and we'll flip the ignition on and see if that light right there comes on, and that's where we're gonna start. Alright, y'all. I traded for that MSD box, so I'm super scared. I'll turn the ignition on. Go out here. And it's got a light on, so I'm gonna set you guys up. We're gonna try and fire this bitch off. So it ran, and my MSD box works. Well, let me tell you what, I did not get very far last night. I took it out, I drove it a little bit, and it stuck me in the backyard. And it stuck me in the backyard because I set up the carb wrong, and I had the linkage on the wrong side kind of deal, and I had the choke stuck closed. So I choked it out. I fixed that, then I broke the throttle cable again. Then I fixed the throttle cable again, and I took it down the driveway that way. And it ran like shit. Could not get it to run. And then it died in the middle of the driveway at like 9 o'clock at night, and I'm just trying to get this thing back. I had to run like 300 foot of extension cord to get a battery charger out there to get it. I finally got it back, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna leave it alone. And I was like, what is going on? And I go out and I look inside the butterflies, and there's just fuel dumping. Beep, beep, beep. I'm like, oh, well, that's not good. So I pull the top of the carb off, and the floats swing down completely out of the way, and they drop the jets, right? That's just the way it's always been to me. I don't know any different. That's not right. So I lowered the floats a little bit, thinking that that would solve the problem. It didn't. So I need to take the carb off, and I need to figure out the base float level, and I also need to figure out float drop, because they're only supposed to have 15/16 to an inch of float drop, and they drop completely out. So at some point today, when I'm done taking care of my birds, I will get to work on that, and I will pull the carburetor off, reset the floats, see if I fucked up the needle and seat, and just go through it, and then hopefully with that adjusted the correct way, she'll run really good. Before this setup, that motor would valve float. I thought it was valve float. It would valve float at 4,400 RPM. It ran good for a minute yesterday. And let me tell you what, that thing does every bit of 5,100 RPM. I don't know if it'll do 5,100 RPM with load on it, but it does it. So, the MSD does work. The MSD Super HEI kit does work, and it works really good. And I just need to get that carb to work. I fucking hate Edelbrock. At some point, I'm going to be putting a Holly Brawler on it, or whoever the knockoff is that makes Brawler. It doesn't matter. That's what's going on this car, because I hate this. Or, if I come into some money again, which I have done occasionally, I'm just going to put the fuel injection on it, because I'm really tired of fighting this stuff. But that should solve that. And then I only had 20 degrees of timing in it before, because I had it set at 0, and that was just my understanding, because I'm still learning. I'm not perfect, y'all. My engine guy's like, you have no timing in it? I was like, yeah. And he's like, no, put 15 degrees of base timing in it. So that alone should change that car. And then you got the Super HEI kit, which is double spark up to 3,000 RPM and is way better than any factory ignition I had. And then as soon as I get the carb dialed, this thing should be a monster. And it's showing signs of being a monster. It's definitely worth the work, but I'm struggling with it right now. So I am going to go take care of my birds. I'm going to go take care of my fish, and then I will work on that and let you guys know how it goes later. So I will talk to y'all at some point soon. Have a good day, and God bless. Get out there and wrench on something. Build it, break it, fix it, race it, repeat. Whatever order you want to do it in, as long as you're breaking shit and fixing it, you got to find the weak points. All right, y'all. Bye. God bless.